make the people, they are servants of the people. And we have to decide the type of people we want to rule over us. So we're saying righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a disgrace. That's my point, because that is God's point. And you know what? Let's face it. God is still on the throne. And when he says the wickedness of the wicked must come to an end, that's it. That's it. So I look to God to intervene on behalf of our indigenous in the hinterland. We gotta look after our children. We've got to protect them from predators. And if we suspect there's a predator among us, then we have to deal with the predator. Let's go through the procedure. We are not a banana republic. We have the rule of law. Let's go through the courts. Let's go through the courts. Let's see how the courts, if the courts gonna be a blessing to the nation. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to reward good, and it's supposed to deal very condimely with wicked. So they have to come to a place of decision. We await that thorough investigation.
Thank you. Sister Bernice Walcott there, protester, advocate for rights and righteousness, saying let the courts do its work. Let the courts do its work. And there we have it. Having a little bit, some little conflict here. I think the police doesn't want us to protest in front of the office of the president, but the opposition leader is taking care of that. The leader is taking care of that, and so. Who must go? Who must go? Who must go? No, don't do that. Don't do that. Keep going.
Oh, sorry. Simona said to stop. So
no, tell Simona not to do that.
So we marching.
You're going, but you're turning back here, so they can't accuse me of blocking the entrance.
Okay.
They would never been afforded that degree of luxury that we have enjoyed at the Islam police station. Less than that is in the country.
We have Mr. Patterson as well. We have also Amanda Walton is here on the protest line.
Tell the police who must go.
Who must get charged?
Who must get charged?
Who must get jail?
Who must get jail? Who should be in jail? Who should be in jail? Who should be in jail?
Mr. Patterson, your thoughts on so far on the development of this?
Well, it's first of all, my heart goes out to the victim, and I do hope that she gets all the support as possible. I do ask people on social media not to be sharing her photos, not to be speculating. It's a police investigation. So that is on one side. On the other hand, this is a repeat offender, right? You know what I mean? This is a serial sexual predator. I mean, this is at least, in my recollection, 5 times where such an allegation been made against him, and nothing has happened. You know what I mean? If you can remember during the 2014, the 2015 election, there was an allegation when he was PS that he took a young lady away from her family, and her mother had to go and get her. That's there on the records. You know what I mean? You can remember in 2016 he drew his gun against an IDB representative because the guy was communicating with his wife. People not charged then, you know what I mean? Last year, there's a young lady, 23-year young lady, made very similar accusations, including sharing Facebook posts. And then, of course, there's the infamous dildo comment.
Yeah.
And now this, I mean, it shows, one, the level of contempt that this person has, and the PPP, because obviously nothing has happened. To him, he hasn't stepped down, he hasn't lost any thing. It's just public pressure now. They have for not only our young, but also one of the most vulnerable groups in our community, the young indigenous persons, you know. And I must say as well, you know, I mean, I'm glad that the police are now sprung into action, but I also want to condemn the actions of the senior superintendent over in Region 2, who interviewed the young lady, interviewed the young lady, interviewed her mother, and signed a statement which sought to exonerate the minister, clearly departing from the procedure to the Child Protection Act, which says that there are certain things that must be done before. But the senior policeman, so in charge of Region 2, immediately called in the persons and got a statement from them. You know, he didn't even investigate the allegation. He just set out that she didn't share the post. Maybe or maybe not, you know what I mean? So I have a concern. I'm sure we all do have a concern with him remaining in Region 2, remaining in charge of that station, and the officers under him are the persons who will be doing the investigation. So we do hope that we're here hoping that the case will proceed accordingly.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. We have the opposition leader right now.
Mr. Norton, why are you out here? I'm out here for a number of reasons. It is in the public domain that a minister is accused of raping somebody under 18, a young indigenous girl. And we believe that is wrong, and that's one of the reasons we're out here. The second reason why we're out here, this Ghana police force, it picks up people for lesser crimes and hold them for 72 hours with no evidence on anything. But here, you have a man in which there is a lot of information out there. It's not the first allegation against him. It's not the second. But yet he's placed on $1 million bail when the average man commits a lesser crime. He gets no bail. In fact, they hold him for 24 hours regardless, claiming to be investigating. And so I'm very, very annoyed that preference is being given to Nigel Dharamlall. The nature of this case, he should not have been out of police custody. He is still in a position where he can influence where this goes. And then you were talking about administrative leave. Where in the world do you get administrative leave when there's an allegation of rape? We are going to continue to put pressure on the government because they are biased. They are not treating the crime as if it's a crime. He is enjoying preference, and he should not have any preferences. And I must repeat, many young people in this country who don't commit a crime, the minute the police pick them up, it takes 72 hours in the lockup. You have a serious allegation of rape, and he goes on $1 billion. And that is why through the campaign I was saying, Hicken cannot be commissioner of police. He is compromised. He is politicized. And people will not get justice if you have a commissioner who is neither certified nor qualified. His only qualification is he's liked by the government because he does their political bidding. For all of those reasons, we are out here. Well, you have to be concerned with this regime. This regime is known for just not paying attention to the rule of law. Look, it is only because this became so public. Barry Jackneo should have been investigated for alleged crimes of bribery, corruption. but nothing has been done. I think in this case, it is because of the public pressure that is emerging that they do what they, well, you have to keep our eyes on them because they will seek to find some way to let him go. And so I'm concerned, but we will continue to do what we have to do. It's again a manifestation of the politicization of the Guyana Police Force. He should be removed from the Guyana Police Force instantly because it is indicative, it is symptomatic of what happens. One doesn't know what he would have gotten to do, what he did, and therefore we have identified one person in the Guyana Police Force who is compromised and really should not be around any form of investigation, whether it's criminal or not, because the attempt to have the child recant is really a clear indication that the police force was willing to be involved in a cover-up. And therefore he should be dealt with. Yes, in fact, we know that many cases were covered before. We know, look, this is not a case where this chap is some closet sex fanatic. In Parliament, he told one person, or some of our MPs, they need a dildo. There is record on the internet to show he took out his penis and put it on in the public domain. Though some people said they had difficulty seeing it. The evidence suggests that it is not new. He is a pervert that needs to be put away to ensure we can protect our women.
Yes, and I want to point that in this particular case, I'm going to sit down right now. I printed out the young lady's statement. I have the 2005 trafficking act to go through that, looking for the evidence, because there's something strange in there. One is that more portions are coming forward, and the evidence is there where this girl was lured from one region into another, from region 2 here, but more so into a government compound, a Chilabar, where judges live, where ministers of government live. And so the girl felt safe. So I believe that this investigation should not fall short of human trafficking. And in fact, when I go through the statement, Ruth Hart's statement, and the 2005 Act, I'm going to make a strong call. But even at this time, I'm asking the U.S. Embassy, the DPP, because we sat down on the round table on human trafficking. Control is one of the biggest things that you look for when you're looking for the evidence of human trafficking. You look for control, somebody in power, somebody of authority, using state funds to lure her. How she get from there to Georgetown under pretense. You understand what I mean? So I'm saying there are signs there based on the evidence that was out in the public, the statement. With those allegations, I'm saying there's sufficient in those statements by the young lady for us to call for the police to investigate for human trafficking. And I'm not just, human trafficking is not a cease investigation. We have trained personnel FCID to peruse this at the level of the DPP chambers. The DPP, I'm asking, I'm calling upon her because I'm going to go to point out that this investigation, the Minister Dharamlall, based on the allegation, should be investigated for human trafficking.
Is there a concern that this young lady could still be intimidated once she's in state custody?
Definitely, and that is why the government need to make it clear about her treatment. Because we don't know, we saw a so-called officer who tried to compromise based on a statement that was before the public. All of that is interference. All of that because you're intimidating her. I'm happy that the young lady in question, like I said, is an intelligent young woman. A young woman who felt she was violated by a minister because she said in her statement, I trusted him. I wanted nothing but a professional relationship with the minister. You understand? He groomed her. He's wicked. Dharamlall, based on the allegations, is evil, and he should be investigated for human trafficking.
And the protest continues. The crowd is getting big out here. Persons are coming in from their lunch break to join the protest. Come on, Auntie Annette, Minister Annette, Foreign Minister Annette Ferguson here with us. You were on the protest line yesterday in Kingston. You're back in front of the office of the president. There's some new developments. He was placed on $1 million bail. What are your thoughts on all these new developments happening right now?
I am concerned about this placement of $1 million bail because, Andrew, you would recall there are many instances, not similar to this particular incident, but you had the Roxanne Myers, you had even opposition political opponents who were actually arrested, placed was made to put in prison or jail for 3 days, 72 hours. You understand me? Some of them wasn't placed on bail, while some were actually placed on bail, taken before the courts, and they had to pay, a bill, some in 300,000. We have, let us use former Minister, Mr. Jordan, who was arrested by Suku, placed before the courts, and he was placed on $3 million bail, Andrew Weeks. This particular minister who's involved right now, he hasn't faced the courts, but the Ghana police force could have placed him on $1 million, less than 24 hours. He was actually set free. How fair can that be? Where is the justice? Just like how other persons are made to face the brunt of the law, Mr. Dharamlall should not be treated with any exception. Mr. Dharamlall should have his day in court, where all these alleged matters are put to him so that he can defend himself. It is concerning to me, Andrew, what is happening in this country. And what is even painful is that you have a president who is a Muslim, and Muslims don't buy into certain things. Where immorality is concerned, that's not their thing at all. And you haven't heard Mr. Ali coming out to say much on this particular issue. What Mr. Ali should have done is to have Mr. Dharamlall submit his resignation to him immediately, rather than him having Dharamlall saying to him that he will be proceeding on administrative leave. Now tell me, is who really leading the dog? Is it the tail wagging the dog or something? So I trust Andrew
that this young girl gets the justice that she needs. And I want all right thinking Guyanese, whether you're a mother, you're not a mother, you're an aunt, you're a grandmother, whichever role you're playing, I'm calling on all of us to stand together. Let us have one voice concerning this particular incident. This is not about politics, Andrew. This is about a little child, a young woman who might have prided herself to get her husband, who would have been the first person to take her body when her body was actually taken.
All right. Good afternoon to you guys. This is a live protest in front of the office of the president. It's pretty legal. We hope that more folks can go out there to voice their concerns. We hope that mothers and we hope that fathers can go out there to voice their concerns as to what's happening in the country. For too long, there has been a blind eye turn on these events where little boys and little girls are being taken advantage of sexually. And so it has got to stop. Lots and lots of reports of trafficking in person, trafficking of our little girls and little boys, trafficking of little girls in the interior, trafficking of little boys. The system has failed. And I repeat, the system has failed our young people. We need proper task force set up. We need proper organization set up because of the system. Oftentimes, the system has turned a blind eye on these complaints. The police force need a total overhaul in every aspect because far too long, the victims have had absolutely no justice. There has been reports upon reports of pregnant little girls, 12, 13, 14, 11 in some cases. All of these things have been covered up. And if you're going to have someone, sorry, just remove from Annette for a moment. If we're going to have someone who is going to sit there as minister of local government that is responsible for these regions and particularly frequent visits into the interior and allegations of trafficking in these little girls, allegations of sharing these little girls at party and just passing them around as though they're worthy of nothing. It has got to stop. And we are hoping that this is not a one-time affair where this becomes public now, as in the case with this situation, and we all voice our concerns. We all get out there and we're saying that it has got to stop. And then when the dust settles, then we're back to square one. Let us hope that this is not the case in this particular situation, because enough is enough. The other issue in terms of incestuous relationship with little girls and little boys, these are things that have to be looked into. And it takes a sick mind of an individual to commit any form of incestuous relationship. It's got to stop, and we've got to bring this discussion to the fore. Good afternoon, all of you. Again, this is currently happening in front of the office of the president. This is what's happening. And kudos to those brave individuals who are out there. And then oftentimes people love to just jump on the top of their voice to say that they are on the ground. And you got to put your mouth where your money is, so to speak. These folks are out there on the ground. They are working. And we've got to salute them and say thanks for those brave ones who are out there, including some of the MPs. Now, we are seeing some MPs going out there. We are seeing some MPs doing what needs to be done and doing in terms of their job of representation of the people. We are seeing that. And those MPs who are out there, we've got to be fair enough to give them their credit. We've just got to give them more than a passing grade this time around. We've got to give them their kudos for that. And we hope that this sort of activism, this sort of representation can only increase. And in doing so, I am saying that I am impressed with what I'm seeing, that they are out there. The few of them who are out there working, and we must give kudos to them. I have noticed the leader of the opposition being out there as well, and we've got to give him a passing grade again. And we've got to be able to give Jack its jacket. And this is not about emotions. This is not about bitterness. This is about sensible politics. This is about how it ought to be done in order to bring down a corrupt, racist regime. And for me, it doesn't matter who is there. It doesn't matter who is placed at the helm, whether it's a person of African descent, East Indian descent, a Chinese, it doesn't matter. And politics for me is once they have good policies that are able to benefit all the people of the country, then Guyana would move forward. And again, it doesn't matter the ethnicity of the person who is at the helm. It is about the policies. And we have seen some good policies under the David Granger-led administration, where Guyana started to heal again. Guyana started to breathe again. And that's where we have to lead this discussion to. How can we make Guyana breathe again? We've got to be able to do that. And so I say kudos to the folks who are out there. Looks as though we have lost a bit of internet connection there on the ground. And again, kudos to brave soldiers on the ground. Brave soldiers on the ground. These are the fighters who took time out of their busy schedule. Some of them are vendors, and we know the vendors are out there. They're making the little bit of monies and so forth, but they're out there to represent, to stand up for those who are unable, those like us who are outside of Guyana, right? They're representing all of us, and all of us have to find ways and means in representing each other. This is not a boast and brag situation, who did it and who in did it and who did it and who did it, who do more and who did. It's not about that. It's what you call infantile politicking. And we at 107.1 FM, we're not about infantile politics. We're about a mature politics moving forward. And how would we be able to have our country breathe again by having responsible men and women in position, hard workers, fighters. It's not a showcase. It's not a fashion show or these sort of things and who can get more likes than who and who sound better than. It's not about that. It's certainly not about that. 50 minutes after 12 o'clock, again, we have lost our connection there. We will try to regain that hopefully soon. But let us. There's something else that I want to bring to your attention. And we've gotten lots of emails and calls about last night's program. Let me again congratulate just say thank you to the guests who were on. People were very, very pleased in terms of the maturity, in terms of the level of discussion and the subjects that were discussed. Thanks again to our guests who were on: Shalon Washington, attorney at law, accountant, all professionals, accountant, Wayne Caesar, and then we've had Commissioner Cole out in Guyana, and someone else was on. I'm getting up there, right? That is why I have a little, I'm very impatient with emotional outbursts and these things. I'm very impatient with these sort of bitterness from some folks. But I forgot who was the other person. There were three. There was Commissioner Cole, there was Caesar, and there was Attorney at Law Shalon Washington. So I didn't forget anybody. I'm not getting up there, right? All right. So something else I wanted, and I just thought I'd bring this to your attention, guys. Of all that is happening with Dharamlall, have you noticed? Because Jack Dale loves to mouth up about everything. He loves to run. An error there, right? He loves to run his mouth about every single thing. He loves to run his mouth about every single thing. Every single thing. But notice not a word, not a single word about the allegations that a little girl was raped. The allegations that a little girl was raped by a member of his party, by a minister of his installed regime. And not a word from Bharat Jagdeo. I repeat, not a single word from Bharat Jagdeo on the matter. And you can ask yourselves why, right? And we can see that this guy, Bara Jagdev, doesn't care about Guyanese. He doesn't care about the people of the country. All he's concerned about is himself. Again, I repeat, all he is concerned about is himself, and he promotes only himself. Um, and so sometimes we see that, it's um, every day we see that. But let's get back to this here. Um, sorry, as we prepare to get back to the protest here, as we're trying to get that protest, but for some reason we keep getting bad internet connection. Horrible internet connection, not at our end, mind you, but we'll see what's happening with that. So if you check on Bara Jagdev's page, nothing, absolutely nothing. And I see you, Patsy Spears Hudson. Patsy Spears Hudson is talking about Ephesians 6:12. What is it? What does it says? Maybe somebody can refresh my memory. Does it have to do with principalities and wickedness in high places? Okay, so on Jagdev's page, this is all he can talk about. And he says, every person who came to see me. So it's all about him, people going to see him. And so he thinks that he is God, right? He thinks that he is God, and people have gone to see him, right? People have gone to see him. Nothing else. People who have gone to see him. We're seeing the attitude. People who have gone to see him. And he has made promises to these people. And look at these people who went to see him. All a photo up. Look at these people who he's claiming that went to see him. The photo up. It is there. We can see it, right? People who have gone to see him. And let me just take the time to thank you guys for sharing the link. You real fighters out there, not pia fighters, not ignoramus fighters, real fighters. That's who you guys are, real fighters. We get some messages. We have some messages coming in from some folks, and a lot of folks are happy, and which is what we have been guiding you guys here on 107.1 FM to do. We have been guiding folks and saying, well, look, yeah, thank you so much. I almost forgot that last night's guest. Sorry about that. Last night's guest was also the General Secretary of the People's National Congress. The General Secretary of the People's National Congress. How could I have forgotten her? Thank you, my long time, I would just say colleague now at the radio station in Guyana. That's all I can say, the GBC. I don't want to say that and give you guys an idea that I'm almost in my 80s, right? But thank you so much to that individual who reminded me that Don Hastings, Member of Parliament, Don Hastings Williams was also on last evening. And it was, folks were very pleased. They're very happy in terms of the maturity of the politics and the discussion and so forth. And I say kudos to those guests and all of our listeners. We're waiting to be reconnected, but apparently we're not getting that opportunity. Let's continue, though, with what is happening there in Guyana. There's something else that I want to bring to your attention. Priya Manik-Chand, and let's break this down here. Priya Manik-Chand, she is at it again to prove a point. I don't know what point it is that she wants to prove, but she's out and at it again. This is what she apparently has taken umbrage to a report from Adam Harris news outlet in Guyana. According to Priya, she says, and I quote, I have spoken to Mr. Adam Harris in relation to this report. I have, I have asked him to withdraw and to correct. At no point did any Ministry of Education staff visit the complainant, either in the presence of the accused or alone or at all. I have noted other blatant lies and twisting of facts, and I am wondering if those perpetuating said untruths understand the danger of those, whatever the heck that means. But this is what, as we see the headline in 9 News Break, says here. A senior police officer sought to cover up the Nigel Dharamlall rape allegation, even as Dharamlall appears to admit guilt. More details from Adam Harris in this report. And this is what Priya Manikchand, of all persons, have taken umbrage to. So she has taken umbrage to this particular story. In other words, she's trying to pull herself out. She's attempting to give the impression that they have done all within and that she has done everything the correct way. That is not so. That is not so. I repeat, that is not N-O-T. It is not so. Let me take you guys, and mind you, I wasn't expecting to be on. I wanted to share the protest so that you guys can hear those brave people on the ground. And those are the brave people you've got to salute. They are on the ground. That means suing that they're on the ground. They are out there working for the best interest of all Guyanese. And we say kudos to those people on the ground. Having said that, let me take you guys to what Priya Manikchand said on her page. So this is what Priya Manikchand said, and I quote, I am told and I believe that the Chief Executive Officer, that's the CEO of the Ministry of Education, mind you, made contact with the school named in the statement, and through said school made contact with the student. Full support was offered to her, and she chose. Now let's stop for a moment. What does she mean that someone, and obviously her CEO, who is Saddam Hussein, her chief education officer, made contact with the student, and through said school made contact with the student, full support was offered? What sort of full support that Priya's ministry can offer the little girl? What full support? The question is whether her ministry attempted or did anything to report the matter to the police. That is what's important. Because if you are, as she is claiming, Priya Manikchand is claiming that she gained knowledge of this situation, and the only thing she did was to put her CEO, that's according to her, maybe we need a lie detector test here. The only thing that she said that she did, according to her again, was to have her CEO, the Chief Education Officer, to get in touch with the school, and the school gave the child's information. And so the CEO made contact with the child. And let's continue here now. According to Priya Manikchand, full support was offered to her, and she chose a date on which she would avail herself. In other words, politely, the little girl has said that I am not ready for help now. I am not ready for anything now, but maybe at such and such a date and such a time. It simply means that the little girl, in my opinion, mind you, doesn't trust Priya Manikchand, doesn't trust the Ministry of Education, and doesn't trust, or didn't, obviously, she didn't trust the approach made by the person Priya sent to do this fact-finding on this fact-finding mission. And so the girl, rightly so, smells something, in my opinion again, fishy. The girl must have smelled something fishy about that phone call. And so the little girl demonstrating maturity here has declined. Oh no, at some other time, I will let you guys know, but not now. And so, according to Priya, she wants us to believe that that was the end of the matter. So, you're saying that this child, you offer this child help or support. I don't know what sort of support, but she offered this child support. The child declined and say, well, look, I am not ready now, but maybe some other time. My question is, and we are all grown-ups, my question is, while the child said that, according to Priya Manik-Chan, what did she do? What did her ministry do as it pertains to the information? The damning information about brutal rape of a little girl. What exactly did she do? Did she just go back in her office and eat little puri with little sour or a little roti and curry or cook? Did she just do that? What else did she do? That is what I want to know. And I know a lot of you sensible folks out there might want to know that too. What else did she do? Did she make contact with the police? Did she make contact with Irfan Ali to let him know what transpired? Did she make contact with the Minister of Home Affairs? What did she do? But no, she wants to make it appear that she did everything within the best interest of the child, which is not true because there's no evidence of such. But yet she's now, not so long ago, on her Facebook page, she now is upset over a report coming out of Adam Harris. So she wants to lecture Adam Harris. She's lecturing Adam Harris now and say, hey, Adam, wait a minute. And she's giving this impression now. If you notice how these PPP Pakus love to operate, is to give the impression as though they have done everything that is good for the child and everybody else is wrong, right? You notice that trend. You notice that sort of mentality. And everybody else is perpetuating said untruths. And that those people understand the danger of those quote unquote untruths. But this is a woman who, by her own words, have not done anything for this child. We should be hearing that, look, the Minister of Education, albeit she's there through questionable circumstances after rigged elections, we, the taxpayers, would prefer to probably have the Minister of Education saying, after I became aware of this situation, I quickly dispatched a team of experts. I don't know that the chief education officer is an expert, that you think that such a matter can be handled via a phone call. Hello, hi, my name is Saddam Hussein. My name is Saddam Hussein. Yes, I'm the chief education officer. Yeah, tell we hear a story going on. It's what happening. Tell we. The little girl just sensed danger right there, in my opinion. Again, danger. Now, how can I just, say these things over the phone? If you were so concerned, they would have gotten, of course, they knew the address of the little girl. They would have gone there with a team of professionals. Professionals, not Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein is not a professional. And if that's the only solution that Priya thinks would have solved the matter, then she is wrong. She is equally guilty of not doing anything to expose the perpetrator. And in my opinion, if this matter could have been covered on and finished with, then it would have been bingo for Priya. Bingo for Priya. She would have said to Dharamlall that, don't worry, I can handle this. I could handle this. And that is how these Pakus, these PPP Pakus, that is exactly how they operate. And so now she wants to make it look like, oh, Adam Harris is doing something so bad. Adam is reporting. Adam is not one of them who feel that the victim is she give consent and he's going to go to court and he's going to, no. That's not the approach we should have. If we all have had that approach, then we would not have had Dharamlall arrested and possibly soon will be charged. We can't see this going any other way. We can't see the DPP going any other way. She is prone whenever situations where a bunch of evidence is in her possession. She oftentimes loves to say, send it back to the police for more evidence, or send it back to the police for clarification of certain things. That's how she operates. But let us hope this time around, it is not going to be the case at all. Not this time around. It shouldn't be the case this time around at all. It shouldn't be the case. Again, I repeat, it shouldn't be the case at all. Oh, you just came to say hi, right? Okay, cool. All right. Good. Come. Say hi and a kiss. Good job. And congratulations. Give that a high five. You graduated, right? The playground? All right, I'll take you just now. Let me wrap up with the people's business here. Sorry, guys. You guys know I'm a babysitter, right? I know you're not a baby. Sorry about that, but sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. I'm always, I came here to do my work, and then I forget that I have another job. I'm a hardworking guy. I have several jobs, right? Yeah, Emma graduated. That's why, I just wanted to have you guys see me. Sorry about that. And so, yeah, you guys have gotten accustomed to this, And this is not like a long time when you go and you interrupt a parent. Just imagine me doing that to my dad or my mom or, an older relative or something. The amount of licks and the bell gonna come out so fast. And I tell you, nothing, this job, what axe? Man, the amount of thing behind my head I would have gotten already. Times have changed. And so we've got to be very careful, extra careful how we treat our kids, how we talk to them. We've got to be very careful. Because you're going to get very old someday, and I ain't want to end up in no nursing home. I'm telling you all that. And I have 3 kids, and I hope that nobody putting me in no nursing home, because I walking out of the nursing home and look for them. And so, she came and she stopped the show. Somebody tell me where I was for a second. Let me see if you guys were paying attention. Somebody tell me where I stopped off in terms of back to Priya. I know, back to Priya. Thank you guys. I notice all the congratulations and So back to Priya and Priya and these folks do not care. They just don't give a damn about anything, and it's always to cover themselves up. Always, that is the case. Always to cover themselves up. They want to look nice, as though they have done what was right and all these different things. That's all they're concerned about. Look at Jack Deere. Not a word about the situation. Not a single word about the situation. Speaking of nursing home, Francine came crawl right out of the nursing home. Good afternoon to the folks at the nursing home there in Long Island. Good afternoon, Francine, and all of you guys. Right out. Yep. Thank you so much. We get our folks are messaging, and apparently there's some footage of the protest, and I want to see what's going on. But take a quick look at this guy. Look at this guy in the meantime. He is the commander. The commander, and he is the guy who claimed to have spoken with the victim, and that said that she recanted her story. And the minute we all saw, because remember, we are big people, and we get sense. We're not big and dotish and and carry a harbor set of dotishness in we mind. We're big people, right? We're big people. And so we know what is happening. And we knew that something was wrong with that report where the little girl through that fake report was saying that, oh, she doesn't like that people are making this a political something, and it's political, and it's this, and no, it's not. It's not. They're the ones in the PPP thought that people dotish. They think that we big and we dotish. That's what they think, that we big and we stupidity, and whatever they say, we got to believe. But we didn't buy into that. We're not buying into that. Let us get back straight to the protest line. The leader of the opposition is out there speaking now, so let's hear what's happening.
That the investigation can be compromised by the minister, because in fact they didn't fire him as a minister, he should be fired. So we're concerned about that. We're concerned about the high level of corruption in this country. It is extremely high, and it is robbing the people of their resources. We are also concerned that the oil and gas sector is being badly managed. The oil and gas sector not only has to be properly managed, but we also have to ensure that the resources that come from it, they must meet the people. To be running all around with infrastructure projects wouldn't improve the quality of life of the people. But if oil resources are taken to utilize to improve education, to give free education, to ensure that, like I've argued, for a nationwide school transportation system so that children can get to school free both by road and by river. There are need for measures that will ensure our people benefit. At present, our people are not benefited from oil and gas sector. That's another concern of us. We are also very concerned that the education system is in crisis, and there seems to be no structured approach to dealing with education. We have got to ensure that we have an education system in which by the time our children reach grade 3, they can read, write, reason, comprehend. This nonsense about the minister telling you about the 1% that succeed, and then the large percentage of the children aren't doing well, is just that nonsense. We need a complete overhaul of the education system. When it comes to health, if you move around, you will hear that all the facilities with all the money they approve, they don't have drugs. We're now talking about building more hospitals. The issue is not solely a shortage of hospitals. It is the absence of proper management of the health sector. Is the problem of when the drugs come, people are accessing them and selling them illegally and making money. So the corruption also affects the health sector. When you look at sport and culture, there is nothing happening there. The minister comes off as a dumb who knows nothing about sport. They seem to feel the only time they must engage sport people is when they want votes. But there are many things in sports and culture that should be done. For instance, in the area of the arts, we should have already been working with our local artists to develop a genre that is linked to Guyana, so that as visitors come, etc. I've always said Rokotok is a combination of Kimfa and Kwekwe. We should be putting resources into developing these local artists so that they develop indigenous music, and not everybody come gotta hear the same reggae, the same soca, what they hear. And of course, we welcome reggae and soca, it's Caribbean. But we also need at the cultural level to be working on our own program to develop the kind of music we think. Drum is on the decline. When you are coming up, all of you will know that the culture center used to have a lot of shows. They want now the government wants to control everything, even who act. It's dictatorial. So what I'm saying to you, there is a political, economic, and social crisis in the country. I haven't mentioned cost of living because everybody knows that. We haven't yet mentioned the high level of poverty. There are a plethora of issues that we have to deal with if we are going to bring Ghana out of this crisis. And last but not least, this clean voter list and biometrics. All of you saw what happened in the last election. The PPP used their resources at their disposal to bribe people left, right, and center. We went into the local government elections because we didn't want to give up any of our strongholds. You imagine this government with a padded list, the kind of money at the disposal. But out of all of this, we have been able to establish that money is not the end at all. We can beat the People's Progressive Party with organization, and we intend to do that.
Mr. Narton, with regards to these protests, how long will you continue, or will you continue to protest?
Protests are determined by the situation, not by me sitting down here and saying next week or next weekend. And protests have a tendency to go up. Issues emerge, die, they come down, and then they go up. But the cumulative effect is what matters.
Mr. Norton, GCOM has not even declared these elections as yet. They have not hosted a press conference to give us an update. Your thoughts?
Well, like I said in the last press conference, GCOM is a complete mess. If I were Claudette Singh, I would have resigned. If I were the CEO, I would have resigned. They are incompetent. And as we go through the results, you see the miscalculations and all sorts of things. GCOM is not fit to run an election in this country as presently constituted.
Okay, Mr. Narton, just one follow-up question. My last question for you. I heard you mention bad governance in the oil sector, and Kaiser News is big on the oil sector. The vice president, while campaigning in opposition, he was caught on record saying that he would have renegotiated the deal if elected into government. He has backpedaled now that he's in government, and people are beginning to suspect that there might be some corrupt practices going on there. What is your take on this, and will this be will you protest against this government decision to backpedal on its promise to renegotiate the contract?
Well, I don't know if I would protest on the governance backpedaling. I protest on the bad management of the sector. I have already said on numerous occasions, the contract provides for us to engage ExxonMobil, its subsidiary here, and we in government will utilize that to ensure we get the benefits the people of Guyana need. For me, it is not so much all of the optics about making noise about oil and gas. For me, it is doing the things to ensure our people benefit from oil and gas. And if it demands, and I do think it will demand, us sitting with ExxonMobil and ensuring we iron out the contract so that we have an arrangement that allows Exxon to benefit from the investment, but also ensure that the people of Guyana benefit significantly.
Okay, thank you.
That's the leader of the opposition. We're going back out to the press conference, to the protest rather. And we have more folks joining us.
Who must go? Who must go? Who must go?
Come, Miss Kisoon. Miss Kisoon. Good afternoon. Claudette still continues to sit in that office there, have not declared these elections, have not even hosted a press conference on these elections. What does that tell you?
That the PPP is up to what they are, is up to corruption. They're a corrupt government. Yes, and the PPP, we know whenever they feel or they recognize that they have been defeated, they will do anything to stymie the process. And so this is their way of stymieing the process. And have her disappear until not have her declare the results. But the people would have spoken when they placed their ex. So we want her to come out. She has to come out. She must come out. And she will come out. Because we demand that she comes out. So Claudette will appear. And she will do the right thing. So let it be.
That's Vanessa Kisu.
All right, for those of you who probably don't understand that little lingo, we gonna walk punchy. We gonna walk punchy. This is a protest that's going on right now in front of the Guyana Elections Commission. They had a good protest, a successful protest in front of the office of the president. And so we've got to commend again. We've got to say hats off to those folks on the ground, these brave folks who are out there on the ground. Hats off to them. This is what you call good politicking. And anybody who wants to disagree with that, something is wrong with their mindset. Good politicking. And we've got to give kudos to those who are out there, those who were out there yesterday. We've got to give kudos to them. And we've got to give them more than just a passing grade, mind you. Good politicking. I love it. They're in front GCOM right now, addressing the situation of Claudette Singh. Some spell her name with an F instead of Claudette, Fraudette, whatever. And this is good. I like this. We're hoping that it can increase. And those who are on the ground, show us, those who are not in Guyana, show us that all of you are going to be on the ground, regardless of where you live. London, Nigel Dharamlall drove all the way from Linden, all the way to Georgetown the other day in front of State House and so forth. And so we got to see it. All are involved. This is not about infantile comments, little childish comments about who live overseas, who is not on the ground. And that is BS. And that sort of mentality gets us nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Bitterness and spitefulness and childishness gets us nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Let me hear the protest, but I like the part we got walk on them. I don't know if Charlene and I'm not sure if Brenda Casey's on, or Francine Cruz and others like Desiree Simon and others. I noticed Sylvia Allen and all the crew is on. Good evening to all of you, Leslie Niles, and all of you beautiful people. Joylyn Cutting. Let me see if you guys understand what the people say. We gonna walk on them. Now you Guyanese who are home right now watching, we gonna walk on them. We gonna walk on shit. What do you think that means? We gonna walk on shit. It brought back really, really warming memories. We gonna walk on them. We gonna walk on shit. We gonna walk on shit. Tessa, what is it that they're saying? We gonna walk on shit. We gonna walk on them. So even if you're not on the ground, wherever you are, whether you are the people's work or whatever, you can repeat. We gonna walk. It's not obvious. Yeah, I'll stop this thing. It's religious work. It's religious chants. We gonna walk on them. We gonna walk on them. We gonna walk on them. Even if you're the people's job, whatever you're doing, just repeat. Joylyn, grab, next to you and holler, we gonna walk on them. Shake him up and say, we gonna walk on them. Do whatever it is. Say, we gonna walk on them. Jack Dale, we gonna walk on him. It's not Obia. It's not Obia. Yeah, I don't know where y'all going with Obia. But let's head back on the ground and hear a little more chant. We gonna walk on them.
I'll break your house. I'll break your house. We gonna walk on shit. We gonna walk on shit. We gonna walk on shit. We gonna walk on shit.
We got to give somebody the donkey here. Right away, Chandra Singh. Chandra Singh said, these people don't have work to do. Nonsense. You all find some work and stops. Nonsense. You all find some work and stops. Nonsense. Find some work and go to school. Start a nursery school or somewhere, man. But when PPP folks are protesting out there in Bath Settlement and all over, and when they used to be right in front of the office of the president, nobody said, let her go look and walk and let, look, get your... I gotta be sophisticated, right? Because I'm on other job next to me here. These crappos get lost, man. Sorry about that, guys. I kind of got out of character there for a moment. It's unlike me, really.
Oh, calling in G. We gonna pray for and say.
We gonna work for shit. We gonna work for shit. We gonna work for shit. We gonna voodoo shit. We gonna voodoo shit. We gonna voodoo shit. We gonna voodoo shit. Declare that must. Declare that must. And Claudette will. And Claudette will.
And Claudette shall.
And Claudette shall. And Claudette shall. And we gonna work for shit. We gonna work for shit. We gonna work for shit.
And pray for shit.
We gonna work for shit. We gonna voodoo shit. We gonna voodoo shit. We gonna voodoo shit. We gonna work for shit.
I mean, this is serious business. For a minute there, I thought that Vanessa Kissoon was getting into the, and then the voice changed. Oh, I feel Vanessa Kissoon know this thing real good, because that change of voice just now. This is serious matter, yes, but that change of voice just now tells me that Vanessa Kissoon knows what's going. Then you think things start getting you. Hey, you guys think it's serious business, It's serious business. I want to spend a couple of minutes more with you guys because, please do forgive me. Please do forgive me. I want to head out and spend some time with. Sorry, Vanessa Kissoon. What that voice? I got to go out and spend some time with Emma, and it's her day. She graduated, and I got to balance my time and so forth. But we're gonna work on them. But this is a step in the right direction. This is what you call standing up against the PPP. And we want more persons to come out, more persons to be out there. It is the right thing to do. There's nothing illegal about this. We have a corrupt regime. We have a racist regime. And we've got to stand up. This is not time to bicker. This is not time to fight. This is not time to nonsense. This is not time for ignorance and these sort of things. This is not time for bitterness, because we cannot go into the general and regional elections with stupidity, with bitterness, and all this stupid stuff. It cannot happen, guys. It cannot happen. And we are not going to tolerate that at all. We are not going to tolerate that sort of stupidity on Ben Sharp Radio at all. At all. So we just thought that we summed that message out there. I want to spend another few minutes with you because I have another job to do, and we gotta head out here with Emma. Emma, come and say goodbye so we can get out of here. Emma really, really wants to go. Right, Emma? Come, where you want to go? All right, come for a second as we prepare to wrap up. All right, we're going to wrap up shortly. Everybody know that you change your clothes and you're ready to go and play. I think you deserve that, right? Because you've graduated and you did well. And again, let me say to you, our listeners, I do have another job. And, you know, Mr. Caesar, quickly, let's get your take, sir. Let's get your take as it pertains to the protests. We saw protest action in front of the office of the president against Dharamlall. We're now seeing protest in front of GCOM. Quickly before we go, as we wrap things up, your take, sir, and good afternoon.
A pleasant good afternoon to you, Mark. A pleasant good afternoon to our listeners and viewers. And yes, the Guyanese people.
And don't forget that Emma is here to our
co-host. A pleasant good afternoon to you too, Emma. I hope you had a great graduation and congratulations to you. Yeah, Mark. The people of Guyana, they are taking their activism to a different level now. Okay, they have had enough of the government. You know, the people are fed up. Basically, they're fed up. They've had enough, and they are out to let their voices be heard. Listen, the PPPC installed government would have run their course. It is time for change in Guyana, and that is exactly what the people are indicating there by protesting. And it's great to see that the Guyanese people are out protesting. More need to come out. It needs to be consistent, you know, until this government is removed. Like Mr. Barajagdi would have came out and said in his press conference after he was finished lambasting the opposition that, you know, he wants to have talks. We're not having any talks. The time for talks are over. We need a new government in place in Guyana, and whoever is going to take the reins of Guyana, be prepared to be challenged, because we're not going anywhere. We're going to be right here watching and making sure that the people are taken care of. Remember this, Mark. Governments are put in place by the people to serve the people. You know, I think they kind of get it twisted. Being in government is being in a position of servitude. And that's what's missing today. So it's good to see the Guyanese people out. I applaud the people. I applaud the opposition. Boots is really on the ground now.
Yes, we actually, Mr. Caesar, we actually like that. Boots is on the ground. It is called clever politicking on the part of everyone, not bitterness and some sort of vexation. You get nowhere in that in politics. What we're seeing is cleverness on the ground, and all parties are playing that role. And I say kudos to all involved, including those in the diaspora who are playing a major role in this as well. Those on Facebook, social media, those on the ground as well. And I got to say kudos to some of those MPs that we are seeing out there. Kudos to them. We are seeing them. We know who they are. Some of them, a few of them have been there with us through the long haul. Kudos to them. We want to see more out there as well. And that's the sort of, just quickly in just about a minute, because we will be back on later this evening. Hopefully you have some time. I know you're busy.
Yes, I do.
As an accountant, but 1 minute in terms of your closing remarks. And I do apologize because I have to rush off with Emma. It's her day too. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, in my closing remarks, Mark, once again, you commended the people in the diaspora. I want to commend, you know, our listeners and viewers. You know, they've been very vigilant. They've been adamant about their position with this government, and they've stuck to their guns. They're not going anywhere. They're standing up until this government is removed. Listen, Mark, like I said before, we have them on the back foot, and now they want to wheel and deal, but we're not wheeling and dealing with them. You understand me? They've oppressed, they've marginalized the Guyanese people for many, many, many years. This should have never been happening. Jack Dio would have came out and said that, hey, Guyanese is not gonna benefit from the oil revenue, you know, at least not now, maybe in years to come, maybe. Guyanese are supposed to benefit from the oil revenue immediately, just about immediately. The country was being run all the time with all this revenue. Now you have this added revenue coming in. Our folks should definitely benefit from it. They have failed our children, they failed our adults. They promised 50,000 jobs. We're still waiting to see. Instead of that, they took away 3,000 jobs. So now it's 53,000 jobs they're in debt to the people for. You have their people who is not paying their taxes to the city. It's just a whole lot of stuff. So listen, we're tired. And listen, the Guyanese people, they need to come out. They need to come out, not just in front of office of the president. We need to come out. We need to come out and line the East Bank. We need to come out and line the East Coast. Let them call for elections. They don't want elections now because they lose the local government elections badly. So they don't want elections now. But Mark, I don't see this government lasting out its term. They are
You mean
weak.
the illegal regime?
Yes, they are weak. They weren't prepared to govern Guyana because of what the mechanism that they used to get into power, which was rigging the 2020 elections. And I told you, Mark, that they could not rig the local government election because the sample was too small. We would have been able to identify. So we still have to work on that list for the general election because that's a larger sample. It gives them mathematically, it gives them a better opportunity to rig. So the larger list would be more risk to the opposition. So we need to get that list at least cleansed going into 2025.
Well said. Well said. Well said. Uh, as you can see here, I really do, and let me say to our listeners, thank you guys for listening wherever you are. Mobilize your folks on the ground. Let them go out there. We see peaceful protests, and oftentimes under the PPP, they usually have these agents provocateurs. They put them in there to cause disruption and so forth. Get that the keys. We're going. Yeah. And so, Mr. Caesar, thank you again so much. Thanks for all that you do, your commentary and so forth. Hopefully, we'll have you back for a few minutes later on this evening, as always. And let me say kudos, a great program. We've been getting a lot of positive responses from since last night to now about the panel that we had last evening. So kudos to you. And thank you for your effort and your contributions as well, because all of the Guyanese people, whether they are on the ground, and we got to stop this nonsense about who on the ground and who's not. It is infantile, it's stupidity in its highest form. All are involved and all are contributing in a meaningful way, whether big, whether small, whether medium. And we got to give Jack his jacket. So quickly, anything else before we go?
No, Mark, I just want to tell you, thank you for having me. And look, I'm always available for the people of Guyana. I love my brothers and sisters in Guyana. I love my brothers and sisters that, join this program every day. So, hey, anytime I could come on and utter a few words of wisdom, of course.
And thank you so much. Appreciate it, sir. Our content right here on 107.1 FM, Mr. Wayne Caesar. Appreciate it, sir. Enjoy.
All right, Mark. See you later.
Yeah, thank you. And for those of you out there, I've got to go. Really, I wish I can stay on with you much longer, but I'm sure there are other platforms where you get some real information, edified information, and not no bitterness and hate and stupidity. Enough of that. It's done with. But for now, let me spend some time with Emma. Thank you all, and I know you guys understand that sometimes we neglect some things, or sometimes we put some things off. Let's not do that. Let's not. I've shared a lot of time with you guys today, right? I'll see you guys back at 9 o'clock. And this is Emma singing a nice song for you guys. Congratulations. I'm proud of my kids. All of you should be proud of your kids. Respect your kids as well. That's the key. Respect them at every level. So long until later this evening. God bless you. Thank you guys so much. And if you have kids also out there that graduated today, whether it's nursery, whether it's primary, secondary, middle, junior high, university, kudos to you guys as well. Congratulations. It takes a village to raise our kids. It takes that village. Let's get back into that village. God bless you.
You'll never fade. I'm proud of me and all that I can be. What's in you will see. I'm on my way. I'm kinder and smarter. I'm on my way. I'm braver and stronger. I'm on my way. What's me be the best that I can be? No, my way. A little bit stronger, my hair's a little bit longer, my teacher's a little bit prouder, my heart beats a little bit louder. Look at all the friends I've made. These memories will never fade. I'm proud of me and all that I can be. Watching you will see. I'm on my way. I'm cutting my tongue. I'm on my way. I'm braver and stronger. I'm on my way. Watch me be the best that I can be. I'm on my way. I'm on my way.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.